Hey guys, in today's video we will continue to see the story titled The Return of the God of Destruction, Big Mun. This story will be about a god of destruction that was brought to life, but he didn't belong to any of the current 12 universes, but one of the 6 that had been destroyed by Zunou-sama thousands of years ago. We will see how this god of destruction will behave now thousands of years after his death and what his goal will be now that he has returned. Will this god of destruction be a new ally for Goku or a new enemy for him and his friends? Well, follow along to find out. So grab a bucket of popcorn and your soda and come with me, and of course don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment what you think of this story. Well, without further ado, let's get started following this incredible story.
Big Mun said, "This item reminds me of those Egyptian items from the 13th universe, but it was elegant on me, at least," said the god of destruction while looking at the item he had placed around his neck, and by doing so Big Mun felt much better. Big Mun spoke, "Incredible. I'm feeling my power in a more fluid way, and I'm not feeling tired just having that feeling," said the god of destruction, creating a sphere of destruction and shooting it at the sea of that planet. When the sphere hit the water, it was over, generating a great explosion, which caused a lot of water to fly out, thus forming an artificial rain. Aminet spoke, "It seems that the special item is working very well, Master. So what are we supposed to do now?" asked Anya to her master. Big Mun said, "Of course, let's go after the Super Dragon Balls." Aminet, "Can you track the Super Dragon Balls using this tiny sphere from planet Earth? They have the same principles, so their energy, if not the same, must be similar to that of the Super Dragon Balls," said the god of destruction while looking at his Anya. Aminet said, "Yes sir, using this sphere, I can track the Super Dragon Balls, and while I do that, I recommend that you gather as much power as possible and store it inside this item, because when you need it, you can release it the energy contained within it," said Anya to her master. Big Mun then put himself in a lotus posture and began to gather his power, and while he did that, Anya began to look for the Super Dragon Spheres. Hours later, a few hours had passed, and Big Mun had managed to gather as much energy as possible in the item that was around his neck, and Aminet had managed to find some of the 7 Super Dragon Balls. Aminet said, "Master, I've already managed to find 4 of the 7 Super Dragon Spheres, and 3 of them are here in the 7th universe, and the other is in the 6th universe. But the other 3 spheres, I don't know where they are, and from what I felt they are well hidden." Anya spoke to her god of destruction, who soon left the lotus posture. Big Mun said, "Since it's like that, let's go to the 6th universe to get this dragon sphere, and then we'll go back to find the other 3 that are in that universe. After we do that, we go to the wise Zunou. He who is the holder of all knowledge should know where the other 3 Super Dragon Balls are," said the god of destruction to his Anya. Aminet spoke, "Yes, sir. Let's go in search of our first Super Dragon Ball," said Anya, creating a portal to the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see Champa along with his Anya Vados. Both were going to the place where the Super Dragon Balls of their universe were. When they arrived at the place, Vados and Champa saw a portal being formed in front of the Super Dragon Ball. Champa said, "Who are you?" spoke the god of destruction to the unwanted guests in his universe. Vados spoke, "Mr. Champa, they are not normal people. One of them has the power of a god of destruction and the other is an Anya," said Anya while looking at the unwanted guests, incredulous with what she was seeing and feeling. Big Mun said, "Aminet, take the Dragon Ball and let me take care of this guy. He may even have the power of a god of destruction, but he doesn't seem to be as strong as Beerus," said the god of destruction to his Anya, who did as he was ordered. A great golden and silver light began to come out from within Aminet's staff. This light began to cover the dragon sphere, and as the seconds passed the sphere began to decrease little by little, and that made Champa and Vados be surprised, and at the same time frightened by what they were seeing. Champa, seeing that, tried to advance against Aminet, but Big Mun got in front and landed a charged punch on Champa's face, causing him to be thrown away. Big Mun, without hesitation, advanced against Champa, who, seeing that, shot several spheres of destruction against Big Mun, who managed to dodge all the attacks, and when both were face to face, Big Mun began to give several blows to Champa, who, for being above the weight, he couldn't move very well, much less dodge Big Mun's powerful attacks, which hit him with full force and extreme violence, and with each blow Champa received, he lost a little blood. Big Mun, seeing that Champa was too weak, stopped punching the 6th universe god of destruction, and seeing that, Champa tried to hit Big Mun, who dodged the blow easily and continued to dodge Champa's blows, who was trying every way to land a hit on Big Mun. Big Mun said, "You are too weak, man. Looks like my Anya is already finished getting what I want, so I'll leave a message for the other gods of destruction, said the god of destruction while looking at Champa. Big Mun made his cloths come out of his body and wrapped around Champa's body. Then Big Mun made his cloths get tighter and tighter, causing Champa's bones to be broken little by little. Vado's screams were echoing through the place. She couldn't do anything because she was an Anya and couldn't get into a fight like that. Amunet said, "Master, I have already finished my service, and it seems that you have already finished yours too, so we have to go soon," said Anya, showing the super dragon sphere in her hand. The sphere was much smaller than her original size. Big Mun said, "Right, we have work to do. And this guy is as weak as he is fat," said the god of destruction, making his cloths unroll from his body. Then Big Mun kicked Champa's face, causing him to be thrown into the direction of Vados, who took his god of destruction. Amunet then created a portal and entered, followed by Big Mun, who entered the portal, but not before looking at Champa and laughing at Champa's face, that the only thing he saw before passing out was Big Mun's arrogant smile that he entered the portal, which then closed.
In the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, it was possible to see Big Mun together with Ahmanet, the god of destruction, who was looking at the Super Dragon Balls that he and his angel had already collected until that moment. Big Mun said, "Well, with this new Dragon Ball, we have 4 of those 7 Super Dragon Balls. 3 of them were in the 7th universe and 1 of them was in the 6th universe. So now we only need 3 more Super Dragon Balls. We need to know in which universe they are," said the god of destruction, holding the Super Dragon Sphere that had 3 stars inside. Ahmanet spoke. "How will we know the location of the other Super Dragon Balls and which universe they are in?" asked the angel to her master, who soon got up and placed her hand on her chin, thinking. Big Mun said, "Let's go to the wise Zunou. He must know the exact location of the Super Dragon Balls and in which universes they are, and mainly how to use them, because until now, we were only gathering them. But we need to know how to use them. The wise Zunou will be able to help us with that," said the god of destruction, thinking of the only being who would have the ability to know the location of the Super Dragon Spheres precisely and how to use them. Ahmanet said, "Okay, we're going after the wise Zunou, but why are you sure he'll help you? After all, helping you would be the same thing as betraying the High Priest, and Zunou would be erased by Lord Zeno or punished by the High Priest if he did that," asked the angel while looking at her god of destruction master, who ended up giving an arrogant smile. Big Mun said, "That's obvious, Ahmanet. The wise Zunou can only be punished by the High Priest if he is alive, and Zunou will only live if he tells me what I want to know. Because if he doesn't tell me, let's say Zunou will discover the meaning of pain and hell that mortals fear so much," said the god of destruction, looking at his angel, who soon understood what his master meant. Ahmanet spoke. "This reminds me of the old days, when you were stronger and wanted another god of destruction to do something for you. The Lord would threaten him or beat him until he accepted what you said," said the angel while looking at his master, who smiled when he remembered that time. Big Mun spoke, "Good times. At that time I reigned over the gods of destruction, and even some angels were afraid of me because of my potential. I could never be able to use the power of Ultra Instinct if I trained a little more," said the god of destruction while remembering the glory days he had. Amunet spoke. "Who knows? If you use the Super Dragon Balls to regain your power and become even stronger, you may not be able to use the power of Ultra Instinct. If you combine it with the powers of destruction, you will be able to defeat the angels. Well, I just hope that I'm not among the angels that will be defeated by the Lord." The angel spoke seriously to her master, who looked at her and remembered the time he had injured Ahmanet during a training. Big Mun said, "No, I would never kill you. Even after I hurt you and I was killed, you were still waiting for me, so I would never get rid of you, Ahmanet, and to this day I apologize for hurting you back then. That won't happen anymore," said the god of destruction, with a serious look at his angel, who ended up sighing and giving a smile. Ahmanet said, "Sorry, I needed to test this, but now we better go to the wise Zunou and find out where the Super Dragon Balls are and how to use them," said the angel excitedly, right after Ahmanet created a portal to where the Zunou lived. Now at Sage Zunou's palace. In a place connected and at the same time separated from all universes, it was possible to see a great palace, and at its entrance a portal was formed, and from this portal Big Mun and Ahmanet came out. Big Mun said, "It looks like it's bigger than when I came thousands of years ago," said the god of destruction while observing the place where he was, and saw that it was different from the time when Big Mun had gone there. Ahmanet said, "It makes sense because it's been thousands of years since you came to visit the wise Zunou," said the angel while looking at her master. Leaving the changes that had happened since the last day Big Mun came to the palace, Big Mun and Amunet entered Sage Zunou's palace and went to the center where Zunou was sitting on a floating chair. Big Mun said, "It's been a while, wise Zunou. You already know why we're here, so tell me what I want to know," spoke the God of Destruction while looking at the wise Zunou, who when seeing the God of Destruction felt fear in front of what had happened in the last encounters. The Sage Zunou said, "Yes, it's been a while since we've seen each other, Big Mun. After all, you've been dead all this time, and from what I understand, you had a plan to come back to life, right, Big Mun? And you, Amunet, are on the side of this person who will kill all your brothers and sisters after getting the power of the Super Dragon Spheres. And you don't feel any remorse about it," said the wise Zunou while looking at Big Mun and then to Amunet. Amunet spoke, "Why should I care about them? After all, when Big Mun was killed, the other angels thought that I was the one training him to kill the angels, and me being the only angel alive, I just did my job to train and take care of my master, and for doing my job correctly, the other angels blamed me. So why should I care if my brothers and sisters are going to die or not?" said the angel while looking at the Sage Zunou, who couldn't say anything. After all, Amunet was right. Big Mun said, "We didn't come here for you to judge my actions or Amunet's actions, so tell me where the other 3 Super Dragon Balls are and how we will use them. And you better not lie, Zunou, or I'll have to come back here, and you know I'm a master when it comes to torturing. So choose whether you're going to speak for good or for bad. I want you to choose the second option because I like it so much," said the God of Destruction, tightening his fists, making the Sage Zunou very scared. After all, he knew very well Big Mun's reputation and cruelty. The Sage Zunou said, "There are 2 more Dragon Ball Spears in the 6th universe and 1 in the 7th universe. They are at certain points in each universe," said the Sage Zunou, creating a type of map and giving it to Amunet, who placed it inside his staff to make it easier to get to those Super Dragon Balls. The Sage Zunou said, "To use the Super Dragon Spheres, you'll need to have all 7 united, and when they are together, you'll have to say the following: 'Get out there, Dragon of the Gods, and grant my wish, please.' Only you will have to speak using the language of the gods, and after doing that, the Super Shenlong will be invoked. And then you will only need to make your wish speaking in the language of the gods again, and that's it," spoke the Sage Zunou to Big Mun and Amunet. Big Mun said, "Great, that's all we needed to know. Now let's go, Amunet, we need to go after the Super Dragon Spheres that are missing," said the God of Destruction, turning around to leave. Amunet spoke, "Wait a little, Master. Zunou Sage, I want to know what are the plans of the Gods of Destruction and the Angels to defeat Master Big Mun and me. They must surely already know that we are in search of the Super Dragon Balls, and must have already created a plan to defeat us or kill us. Then, Sage Zunou, tell us everything you know," said the angel while looking at the Sage Zunou, who was irritated to see that the angel had asked him a very important question. Zunou, having no options, ended up revealing all the current plans of the Gods of Destruction, especially the fact that they had organized themselves to protect the Super Dragon Balls of the 6th and 7th universe. Zunou told Amunet that Vermouth, the current God of Destruction of the 11th universe, is protecting one of the spheres that is in the 6th universe, and that Quaitella, the God of Destruction of the 4th universe, was protecting the last sphere that was in the 7th universe, along with Beerus, who had previously defeated Big Mun. Big Mun said, "This is indeed valuable information. Always thinking one step ahead, Amunet. Congratulations," said the God of Destruction while looking at his angel, who had a smile on her face. Amunet said, "Thank you, Master. Now we better go back and put together a plan to get the Super Dragon Spheres. And by the way, wise Zunou, it would be smart of you not to tell anyone anything, don't you think?" He spoke to the angel with a smile on his face, something that made the wise Zunou very afraid. The Sage Zunou thought Amunet, who was one of the purest and most innocent angels, ended up becoming that, and all because of that Big Mun demon, thought the wise Zunou while looking at Big Mun and Amunet, who were leaving the place through a portal made by the angel. In the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see all the Gods of Destruction along with their respective angels gathered on the planet of the God of Destruction of the 6th universe. All of them had been called by Vados and nobody knew why, but everyone went to the 6th universe at the request of Vados. Vermouth spoke, "Why were we all called by Vados? Champa doesn't want to have a competition of who eats more, like that time, right? Because if it is, I'll hit him for wasting my time," said the God of Destruction of the 11th universe while looking at the other Gods of Destruction. Hellas said, "These stupid competitions of you men, they're not at all elegant, and if you were to participate in something as ridiculous as that, you shouldn't have invited me. I don't want to spoil my beauty by participating in things like that," said the Goddess of Destruction from the 2nd universe as she looked at the other Gods of Destruction. Likir said, You say that, Hellas, but when we don't call you to one of our competitions, you get irritated with us, said the god of destruction of the 8th universe, while looking at Hellas, who looked at him mortally. Rumshi said, "Hey Beerus, why are you holding that sphere in your hand?" "This sphere looks like those spears that were given to the champion of the Tournament of Power," asked the god of destruction of the 10th universe, while looking at Beerus, who was holding a dragon sphere in one of his hands. Beerus said, "It's nothing that is of interest to you, Rumshi. This is something from my universe, and it is none of your business," said the god of destruction from the 7th universe, with a serious and cold look toward the other gods of destruction. Vados said, "Actually, I would say that the reason you're holding that Dragon Ball was to do with all the gods of destruction, and that's also why I called everyone here today," said the angel, arriving at the place with a sad look, something that surprised Whis, seeing his sister with that downcast expression. Whis said, "What do you mean, Vados? And why do you look like that?" he asked the angel, his sister, who just sighed heavily. Vados spoke. "You will see why I'm like this and what I mean by that. Everyone follow me, please," spoke the angel, entering the palace of the god of destruction of the 6th universe. Vados kept silent, and soon all the gods of destruction and their angels arrived in a room. When they entered, everyone saw that that was Champa's room, but what shocked everyone was the fact that Champa was in her bed very injured. Beerus was the one who was the most shaken. After all, he was Champa's twin brother. Beerus spoke. "Who is responsible for leaving my brother like that, Vados?" asked the god of destruction, releasing a little of his power because of his anger. Vados said, "When he came, I couldn't recognize him so well, but now I know who was responsible for nearly killing Mr. Champa. Big Mun, the god of destruction who won the title of the strongest god of destruction at his time. He should have been dead for several years, and seeing him again surprised me," said the angel, using her staff to create a hologram of Big Mun, leaving all the angels surprised, because the strongest god of destruction has returned from the world of the dead. Whis said, "But why did Big Mun do this to Champa? He wouldn't come here just to hit Champa and then leave," asked the angel while looking at his sister. Vados said, "As I said, the reason Mr. Beerus was holding this dragon sphere, I would say that Big Mun tried to take it too, but was defeated by Beerus to ensure that Big Mun could not take the sphere. Mr. Beerus is holding this Dragon Ball. Am I right, Mr. Beerus?" asked the angel to the god of destruction of the 7th universe, and thanks to the angel's statement, all the gods of destruction and angels looked at Beerus. Beerus said, "Yes, a few hours ago Big Mun was in the 7th universe. He ended up going to planet Earth, and as I was there, I ended up facing him. During our fight, Big Mun ended up dropping this Dragon Ball, and knowing that he was behind that sphere, I took it and I was holding it. The only way for him to take the sphere now would be defeating me, something that Big Mun would not be able to do," said the god of destruction while looking at Vados. Beerus said, "But that doesn't mean that Big Mun would come to the 6th universe to defeat Champa. He did that to get revenge on me. Maybe it doesn't make sense since he doesn't know anything about this era we live in. He doesn't know that Champa is my twin brother." So the god of destruction, not understanding why Big Mun would have attacked his twin brother. Vados said, "He didn't attack Mr. Champa because of you, Mr. Beerus. He attacked Champa because he tried to stop the angel who accompanied Big Mun from trying to steal the Super Dragon Ball spear that we had gone after. And when Mr. Champa advanced against the angel, Big Mun entered the front and started to fight with Mr. Champa. In fact, I should say that it was a massacre and not a fight, because Mr. Champa did not manage to land a blow on him," spoke the angel, revealing to why Champa had faced Big Mun and been defeated in such a humiliating manner. Beerus said, "The Super Dragon Balls? What does Big Mun want with them? And how did he manage to transport them between universes?" said the god of destruction while looking at his twin brother's angel. Vados said, "I don't know why he took the Super Dragon Spheres, but I know that the reason must be the same as when he tried to take the Dragon Sphere that's in your hand. Mr. Beerus, they took the Super Dragon Sphere. The angel that was with Big Mun used some technique or skill to reduce the spear until the spear fit in their hand," said the angel, that surprised everyone because none of them knew of a technique that could reduce a spear to the size of a planet. Vermouth said, "But why is Champa alive?" Not complaining, of course. But if Big Mun left Champa in that state, he could have killed him, and he didn't. And what I'm confused about is why Big Mun left Champa alive, said the 11th universe god of destruction while looking at Champa. Champa said, "To make you afraid of him and the power he has." The god of destruction spoke in a slow way because of the pain he was feeling. Vados spoke, "Mr. Champa, you should be quiet and recover properly. You're still not in a position to speak or do anything." The angel spoke seriously to her god of destruction. Vermouth said, I see. He wanted to use Champa as an example to make us afraid of his power. But we have to be realistic. Champa is not as strong as the rest of us, and being overweight, that must have made him weak, said the god of destruction of the 11th universe, exposing a great truth to all. Champa said, You're right, Vermouth, and that's why I have to ask that you protect the other 2 Super Dragon Balls that are in the 6th universe. If the guy takes all 7, he can make some orders, and it'll make us lose everything. And with that, Big Mun will kill us all, said the god of destruction of the 6th universe, slowly, for causing of pain in his body. Jin spoke, Then we will have to protect the Super Dragon Balls scattered across the 6th and 7th universes. This will take a lot of work, but we have to do it. If not, all of us gods of destruction will be killed by Big Mun, and if you think about it, all the angels are in danger too. Since at the time Big Mun lived, he became so strong that he was able to hurt his angel during training, said the god of destruction of the 12th universe, while looking at everyone present. Vermouth spoke. Since that's the way it is, each of us will take a kind of rotation to protect the Super Dragon Balls, and each rotation will last for a week. Let me protect the Super Dragon Balls during this week. That way I won't feel so bad for calling Champa weak and mocking him for being overweight, said the god of destruction of the 11th universe, while looking at the other gods of destruction. Likir said, Right, but we have to protect the Super Dragon Balls from the 7th universe. And we must do it now, because if Big Mun is after the Super Dragon Balls, I would say that we have to go soon, said the god of destruction of the 8th universe. Quaitella said, Since it's like that, I'll protect one of the Super Dragon Spheres that is in the 7th universe. Also because Beerus is not capable of doing this alone, said the god of destruction of the 4th universe, while looking at Beerus and laughing at his face. Beerus said, I don't like Quaitella, but he's right. We need to defend the Super Dragon Spheres to stop Big Mun's plans. Now let's go, because he must already be going after one of the spheres, said the god of destruction of the 7th universe, looking at all his fellow gods of destruction, who just nodded in agreement. Then everyone went to their respective universes except for Vermouth, who stayed in the 6th universe, and Quaitella, who went to Universe 7 to protect one of the Dragon Balls. In the 7th universe. Currently on the planet that Big Mun had stolen to be his temporary base of operations, Big Mun and Amunet were together thinking of a plan to steal the other Super Dragon Balls that were being protected by the gods of destruction. Big Mun spoke. What should we do to get the Super Dragon Balls? I could face the gods of destruction, but that would be something very stupid of me, and I would probably be killed, so that's out of the question, said the god of destruction as he walked from one side to the other, thinking about how to get through Vermouth and take the orb he was protecting. Amunet spoke. Master, are you still able to transform yourself into other people, as you used to do in the past? Asked the angel to her god of destruction, who stopped pacing and looked at her. Big Mun spoke. If I still have the ability to transform into other people, yes, I can still use this ability of mine, but it's been a while since I've used it, so it won't last as long as it did back then, said the god of destruction while looking at his angel. Amunet said, Well, if you still manage to transform yourself into someone else, then you'll just have to transform yourself into the angel of the god of destruction, who is protecting one of the spheres of the 6th universe. If I remember correctly, his name is Vermouth, and he is the god of destruction of the 11th universe, and his angel is Margarita. You can train using her appearance. Then after you've mastered the transformation, you go to the 6th universe and deceive the god of destruction with the appearance of his angel. With that, you'll be able to get the rest of the Super Dragon Balls that are in the 6th universe. Spoke the angel, revealing her plan to get the Super Dragon Balls that were still in the 6th universe. Big Mun said, It's a good plan, using Margarita's appearance. I can tell that something bad is happening in the 11th universe, and with that Vermouth will have to go back to the 11th universe, and when he's gone, I can use his appearance to deceive Champa and Vados, and that way I can get the spheres without the need to fight, and thus attract the attention of the other gods of destruction in the process, said the god of destruction, understanding his angel's plan. Amunet said, Great. Now you better train a little before going to the 6th universe. And this is what Margarita looks like, said the angel, creating a hologram of the angel of the 11th universe, so that Big Mun could train his ability. Big Mun said, Right. I'm going to train this skill of mine that allows me to transform into other people. And when I think I'm ready, I'm going to the 6th universe to deceive Vermouth and get the Super Dragon Balls, said the god of destruction, looking at his angel. Then Big Mun started to train his transformation skill. Hours later. A few hours had passed since the moment Big Mun had started his training to be able to use his transformation ability. After training, the God of Destruction was managing to use his abilities correctly and was already managing to transform perfectly into Margarita. Big Mun said, "I think I'm ready to go to the 6th universe, but how am I going to deceive Vermouth without having the angel staff or their powers?" asked the God of Destruction while looking at his angel. Amenet said, "Take my staff. About the powers of an angel, do not worry. That I will hide inside my staff, and that way I can use my powers. That way Vermouth will not suspect that you are not the Margarita of truth," said the angel, throwing her stuff to Big Mun, who caught it still in the air. Big Mun said, "If you say so, then I will believe it. Now let's go to the 6th universe to get the rest of the Super Dragon Spheres, and then we'll think about how to get the last sphere that is in the 7th universe," said the God of Destruction while looking at his angel. Big Mun concentrated and his body began to glow in a golden color. Then the light disappeared and there was Big Mun, with the appearance of Margarita. The Amenet transformed into particles of light and entered his angel staff. And after doing that, Big Mun, who had transformed into Margarita, hit his staff on the ground twice, and a pillar of energy surrounded his body, and then he disappeared from that place. In the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see Vermouth sitting on one of the Super Dragon Balls present in the 6th universe, while looking around and seeing the vastness of the universe he was in. Vermouth spoke. "Seriously, I volunteered to guard one of the Super Dragon Balls present in Universe 6 because of things I said earlier. If I'd known it would be so boring, I wouldn't have opened my mouth. I would like to know how my universe is currently. I wonder if Topo is doing a good job in my absence." The God of Destruction spoke to himself as he looked around and saw the vastness of the 6th universe. The false Margarita spoke. "Unfortunately, no, Mr. Vermouth," said the angel, appearing at the scene, calling the attention of the God of Destruction. Vermouth said, "Margarita, what are you doing here? And what do you mean by that?" asked the God of Destruction of the 11th universe as he looked at the angel. The false Margarita said, "I came after you because chaos settled in the 11th universe, and this chaos must have been created by Big Mun, who, when he found out that you were in the 6th universe, he went to the 11th universe. Apparently there's something in our universe that Big Mun wants," said the angel while looking at the God of Destruction, who upon hearing such words became very angry. Vermouth spoke. "Damn, that bastard dares attack my universe in my absence. I must return to my universe soon. But I can't leave this Super Dragon Ball unprotected," said the God of Destruction of the 11th universe, very irritated with what he had heard. The false Margarita said, "I have an idea, Mr. Vermouth. I'll use my powers to send you to the 11th universe, and in the meantime I will warn Mr. Champa about what is happening and why you had to return to the 11th universe to protect him," said the angel while looking at the God of Destruction. Vermouth said, "All right, I trust you, Margarita. Send me to the 11th universe, and then you tell Champa and Vados about what happened in my universe," said the God of Destruction, accepting the angel's suggestion. The false Margarita spoke. "Yes, sir," said the angel, creating a portal. Then Vermouth entered the portal that closed afterwards. After Vermouth entered the portal, the false Margarita made his body glow, and then Big Mun returned to his original appearance. Then the staff began to glow. A light came out of the staff, and from that light Amenet appeared. Amenet said, "It seems that our plan worked, Master. Now you will only need to transform into Vermouth to deceive Champa and Vados," said the angel while looking at the God of Destruction. Big Mun said, "Yes, I'm going to use Vermouth's appearance to deceive those two, and I'm going to take the opportunity to convince Champa to leave the Super Dragon Balls with me." Saying that, Margarita discovered how to use the technique of hers and make the Super Dragon Ball get smaller. "And I'll say she taught me," said the God of Destruction while looking at his angel. Amenet said, "It's a good plan, Master. Now you better go. I'll be waiting for your call. But first I have to use that technique in that sphere," said the angel, using the same technique she had used before. Amenet started to shrink the Super Dragon Sphere until the sphere was the size that would fit in her hand, and the angel threw the Dragon Sphere to Big Mun, who caught it and put it in his pocket. Big Mun's body started to glow, and after a few seconds the light disappeared, and Big Mun had the appearance of Vermouth. After that happened, the God of Destruction rushed to the planet of the God of Destruction of that universe. Planet of the God of Destruction. It didn't take long for Big Mun, who was transformed into Vermouth, to arrive at the planet of the God of Destruction, and upon arriving at that place, he went straight to where Champa was. Champa was still recovering from the battle against Big Mun. Champa said, "Vermouth, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be protecting the Super Dragon Ball?" asked the god of destruction while looking at Vermouth. The false Vermouth said, "I'm doing this. I have her right here with me," said the god of destruction, removing the Super Dragon Ball from his pocket, surprising Champa. Champa said, "How did you make the Super Dragon Sphere so small?" asked the god of destruction to his co-worker. The false Vermouth said, "After what you said about the angel diminishing the Super Dragon Ball, Margarita did some research and managed to find the technique that Big Mun's angel used to leave the Super Dragon Ball in the state, and she ended up teaching me. So I came to ask you to let me take and keep the other Super Dragon Balls that are in the 6th universe. That way Big Mun won't be able to get them," said the god of destruction while looking at Champa. Champa said, "That's right. Your plan will be useful, and as you are very strong, Big Mun will not be able to take the Super Dragon Balls from you," said the god of destruction to Vermouth. The false Vermouth says, "Right. I'm already going after the other Super Dragon Balls to make it smaller. That way Big Mun won't be able to get the Super Dragon Balls," said the god of destruction, leaving the place, flying towards the last Super Dragon Ball, which was in Universe 6, now in the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see Big Mun using his cloning ability, which he was using to transform into Vermouth and go straight to the place where the Super Dragon Ball was located in the 6th universe. It didn't take long for the god of destruction Big Mun to arrive at the place where the last Super Dragon Ball was, but when he got there, the fake Vermouth ended up taking a fright when he saw that the Super Dragon Ball was not unprotected, but protected by the most strongest warriors of the 6th universe. This fake Vermouth thought, "Okay, I wasn't expecting this. I thought the sphere would be unprotected, but in reality it's being protected by a group of warriors, and some of them even have interesting power levels," Big Mun thought as he reached the Super Dragon Ball and saw that there were several warriors in the place with interesting power levels in the opinion of the god of destruction. Kaba spoke. "Mr. Vermouth, what are you doing here? I thought you were protecting the other Super Dragon Balls," asked the confused Saiyan while looking at the fake Vermouth. The false Vermouth spoke. "I am protecting the Super Dragon Ball in reality. My angel Margarita, she discovered the technique that Big Mun had used to make the Super Dragon Ball spheres become smaller. She taught me how to use this power. I can make these 2 spheres smaller and leave with them, so Big Mun doesn't have a chance of stealing these. They'll be with me, and that way he will not be able to fulfill his wish, whatever his wish is," explained the fake Vermouth while removing the Super Dragon Ball from his pocket and showing it to everyone that was present. Kaba spoke. "That makes sense. If a god of destruction with great power like you is protecting the Super Dragon Balls, they will be safe," said the Saiyan while looking at the fake Vermouth without suspecting anything. The false Vermouth said, "Right. So you can get out of my way and let me shrink and keep this Super Dragon Ball," said the god of destruction, soon going closer to the Super Dragon Ball. Only when the god of destruction got close to the Super Spear, he had to dodge a blow, which was done by Hit. But the god of destruction managed to dodge it, and moving away from the Super Dragon Spear. Caulifla said, "Hey Hit, what did you do that for? He's the 11th universe's god of destruction, so why in the hell would you do that?" Caulifla asked while looking at the most feared assassin in the 6th universe. Hit said, "Sorry, but this one is not the real god of destruction of the 11th universe. This guy is a fake. And I bet he must be the god of destruction that ended up beating Champa and almost killing him," he said while looking at Vermouth. Kale said, "What do you mean? He is Vermouth, the god of destruction of the 11th universe, and not Big Mun that all the gods of destruction are looking for," said the Saiyan while looking at the killer. Hit said, "I'm a trained assassin, and I've killed many people over the years, and during that time I ended up finding people with the ability to change appearances. So I ended up creating a skill that helped me identify my targets, and I remember it perfectly, the energy that Vermouth has, and that guy there in front of us is not Vermouth," said the assassin, putting himself in a combat posture while looking at the god of destruction, who soon began to laugh out loud. The false Vermouth spoke. "Seriously, man, I never thought I would end up meeting someone who would be able to discover my transformation ability," said the god of destruction, Big Mun, soon making his body glow and his original appearance return to normal. Big Mun said, "Now that I'm in my original form, I'm going to finish you off, and I'm going to get the Super Dragon Ball before the original Vermouth comes back and tries to kill me. After all, I'm not strong enough to kill him, at least not yet," Big Mun said while looking at the warriors of that place, who put themselves in combat posture. Hit said, "Don't let him get close to the Super Dragon Ball, and fight with all your might right from the start," said the killer to his group, as soon everyone started releasing large amounts of energy, and all the Saiyans present transformed to their strongest forms. Soon, all together they advanced against the god of destruction. Big Mun used his clothes to create some clones of himself that soon advanced against the warriors in that place. Big Mun lunged at Hit as he appeared to be the strongest and most experienced of the group. Big Mun and Hit, when they were close to each other, they started a melee battle where Big Mun was taking the advantage, and soon the god of destruction managed to give a sequence of blows to the assassin that even using the temporal jump could not overcome the speed of the god of destruction that landed powerful blows on the Hit's assassin's body. Hit used his time jump repeatedly and tried to hit several blows on the god of destruction, and Big Mun used his body clots to defend himself from the assassin's attacks. And some of his blows were repelled, making the assassin receive his own blow, only with twice the strength. Big Mun soon used his speed and used his cloth to hold one of Hit's arms, and using his strength he turned Hit's body and threw the killer away. And then the god of destruction began to hit several blows around of the killer, who couldn't dodge the blows. Then he tied Hit with his cloth, and then he did the same thing with all the other warriors and united them with his cloth. Big Mun spoke. "You were fun, but you're not strong enough to defeat me," said the god of destruction as he looked at the warriors who were trapped in their body cloths. Big Mun said, "I will let you live, but I want you to tell Champa and the other gods of destruction that I let you live to tell the gods that I will hunt each one of them, and the angels will also be mine. So tell them to be afraid, because I'm going to kill every one of them. Now for Champa, I want you to say that I'm going to kill him, and this time I won't be as merciful as before," said the god of destruction, Big Mun, with a big smile on his face. Soon Big Mun, using one of his hands, created a large sphere of Hakai, but it was not with the energy of destruction, but only made with crushed energy, and that way the warriors could stay alive with that last attack by Big Mun. Big Mun spoke, "I ask all of you not to die," said the god of destruction, soon throwing the spear of Hakai at the warriors who screamed in pain when they felt the attack of the god of destruction. Amunet spoke, "It seems that the battle is over, Master, even though I thought you would have done it faster normally," spoke the angel, soon leaving his staff and assuming a physical form. Big Mun said, "I would normally have defeated them with one attack, or would prolong the fight, but I remember that I'm not currently at my full power, so I managed to have some fun," said the god of destruction while scratching the back of his neck, and looked at his angel, who just gave a smile. Amunet spoke, "It's good to know that you know your current situation of weakness, but that will change soon after we gather all 7 Dragon Balls and make the wish to Super Shenron. And with that, his original power will return. And in the future, we will be able to bring back the 13 universe back to life, and you could return to live in it," said the angel, remembering her old universe where she ruled with Big Mun. Big Mun said, "I also miss our universe a little bit, but don't worry. When all this is over, we'll go back to live in the 13th universe, and everything will go back to how it was thousands of years ago," spoke the god of destruction while looking at his angel. Big Mun said, "But for that, I have to recover my true strength, and using it, I will defeat all the gods and angels that get in my way. Amunet, make this super dragon spear get smaller, and after that we'll get out of here soon. I feel that they must have already discovered what I've done, and that I deceived Champa and Vermouth," said the god of destruction while looking at his angel, who agreed. Amunet said, "Yes, sir. I'll make it quick so we can get out of here and go to the last Super Dragon Ball," said the angel excitedly, and soon she started using her technique to make the Super Dragon Ball smaller and fit in her hand. Big Mun said, "Great. Now let's go. We still have to get one more Super Dragon Ball, and with it my wish will be fulfilled, and I can return to my glory days as the strongest god of destruction," said the god of destruction while looking at his angel, who had one of the Super Dragon Balls in her hand. Amunet said, "Master, it's better we go, or if we don't have unwanted or inconvenient guests." He spoke to the angel, soon creating a portal, that soon the god of destruction with the angel entered, and then the portal closed, in the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on the planet where Big Mun had made a temporary base of operations, it was possible to see the ancient god of destruction of the 13th universe, along with his angel Amunet. Both were observing the super dragon spheres they had at that moment. Big Mun said, "We have 6 of the 7 super dragon spheres. Now only one of them is missing, which is located in the 7th universe. This sphere is being protected by 2 gods of destruction, Quaitella, the god of destruction of the 4th universe, and Beerus himself, the god of destruction of the 7th universe," said the god of destruction, Big Mun, while looking at the current Super Dragon Balls they had until that moment. Big Mun said, "There are 2 gods of destruction that are protecting this last Super Dragon Ball, and facing them will not be easy. And the worst part is the fact that Beerus is very powerful, and Quitella, I can't say if he is strong. After all, I never fought him, but thanks to the information you gave me, Amanet, I know that he is stronger than Champa, and just knowing that I get a little worried. Even Champa being a weak god of destruction, he's still a god of destruction, said the god of destruction, Big Mun, while scratching the back of his head, bothered by not knowing exactly Quitella's strength, and worried about the fact that he would have to face two gods of destruction in his quest for the 7th Super Dragon Ball. Amanet spoke. That is true. The strength you have now won't be able to defeat Beerus alone. Even more so now that he has the help of another god of destruction who must have at least a similar strength to him. Because as far as I know, Beerus is one of the strongest gods of destruction, if not the strongest among the gods of destruction of this time we are in, said the angel while looking at her master, who ended up laughing. Big Mun said, if Beerus is the strongest god of destruction of this era, it will be a shame, because in my time, the weakest of the gods of destruction would be able to go head-to-head with Beerus one-on-one. So Beerus would have the strength of the weakest among the gods of destruction in my time. And that's sad, knowing that the gods of destruction have become so weak like this, said the god of destruction while remembering the time when the gods of destruction were much stronger than the current ones. Amanet spoke. At that time, the gods of destruction competed to see who would be the strongest, not using physical strength, but the aura of destruction that reflected the strength of a god of destruction. And besides, at that time, the gods of destruction lived facing threats coming from other worlds, and this forced them to become stronger. That must be why the gods of destruction are so weak. They should increase the mortal level of their universes, said the angel while sighing, because, like her master, she thought how weak the current gods of destruction were compared to the old gods of destruction. Big Mun said, yes, I agree with you, but I still don't know how I'm going to get the last Super Dragon Ball. After all, they may not be as strong as the old gods of destruction, but I also don't have my old strength anymore, and I'm no longer the strongest god of destruction among the gods. So the big question is, how am I going to get that last Super Dragon Ball? Asked the god of destruction while looking at the other Super Dragon Balls. Amanet said, well, I have an idea. If the current god of destruction of the 4th universe is in the 7th universe, then the 4th universe is unprotected. So you could invade that universe, forcing Quitella to return to your universe. You could do something similar with Beerus, but instead of attacking his universe, you could invade the realm of the Supreme Lord Kaio and threaten him, causing Beerus to leave close to the Super Dragon Ball, said the angel, talking to Big Mun about her idea about how they would get the last Super Dragon Ball. But this idea was not liked by the god of destruction very much. Big Mun said, Amanet, you know me like no one else, and you know that I always liked a good fight, and I always hated the easy ways of life. Killing the Supreme Kai would be the same as killing Beerus, without even having to face him, and that's not something I want to do. If I kill him, it'll have to be in a glorious combat, which will make the entire universe collapse, and not killing the Supreme Kaio, Lord of Beerus, said the god of destruction, with great seriousness in his tone of voice. Amanet said, I know that, Master, and because of that I suggested that you use the Supreme Kai as a hostage, and in the meantime, I could go get the Super Dragon Balls, and that way we could get the Super Dragon Balls without a battle itself, said the angel, explaining her plan to get the Super Dragon Balls. Big Mun spoke. Now yes, it's a plan. I agree with it. It's time to create a small army to invade the 4th universe, said the god of destruction, Big Mun, concentrating and releasing his power around that place, and soon an army made of the elements of that place together with its energy of destruction was formed. Big Mun said, Amanet, send these guys to the 4th universe, and send me to the planet of Lord Kaio of the 7th universe. It's time to get that last Super Dragon Sphere. With that, I will have my wish fulfilled, and so I will return to be the strongest god of destruction, said the god of destruction while looking at his angel. Amanet spoke. Yes, sir, master, said the angel, creating several portals for the soldiers newly created by Big Mun to enter. Big Mun said, Amanet, now create a portal for me to take me to the planet of Lord Kaio of the 7th universe. And by the way, when I enter the portal, I want you to go to where the Super Dragon Ball is and be ready, because when both gods of destruction leave the place, you take the Super Dragon Ball, and then you create a portal so that I can leave Universe 7, said the god of destruction while looking at his angel. Amanet spoke. Yes, sir, spoke the angel, creating a portal for the god of destruction that soon entered, and after a moment, the portal closed. Now in the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on the planet of Lord Kaio, it was possible to see the supreme Lord Kaio of the 7th universe sitting down drinking some tea. But soon Kaio was surprised when he felt a large amount of energy of destruction coming from his back. It scared him. Big Mun said, "So you are the supreme Kai of the 7th universe, and the one who is connected to the life of Beerus, the god of destruction of this universe, right?" asked the god of destruction in a sarcastic way while looking at the supreme Kai. Supreme Kai said, "Who are you? What did you come here for?" said the supreme Lord Kaio while looking at the god of destruction. Big Mun said, "Who am I? I am the ancient god of destruction of the 13th universe, and I came here to kill Beerus. As I know your life is tied to his, I will kill you unless you call him now. Otherwise I will have to kill you. And that will be faster than I would like," said the god of destruction with a psychotic smile on his face. The Supreme Kai thought, "Big Mun, this guy is still alive, but damn it," thought the Supreme Kai, frightened by the presence of the ancient god of destruction that had returned from the dead and was now causing chaos among the gods of destruction. It didn't take long for the Supreme Kai to urgently call Beerus to his universe, and after a few minutes, Beerus and Whis appeared at a pillar of energy on Supreme Kai's planet, and when they got there, Whis and Beerus could see Big Mun holding the back of Supreme Kai's neck. In Big Mun's hand was a certain amount of destruction energy, ready to kill the Supreme Kai at any moment. Big Mun said, well, if it isn't the great Beerus, the god of destruction of the 7th universe. How has your life been up to this point, my dear fellow god of destruction?" asked the god of destruction Big Mun in an ironic tone that looked at Beerus, who was furious with him. Beerus said, "Until this moment she's fine. Different from my brother's life, that you almost killed recently," said the god of destruction looking at Big Mun, who ended up being surprised. Big Mun said, "So that fat man was really his brother? When I looked at him I noticed the resemblance, but I ended up putting it aside when I saw how weak he was. The strength that his brother possesses is too ridiculous for him to be called a god of destruction," said the god of destruction while he looked at Beerus, who was irritated. Big Mun said, "One false step and I'll kill your Supreme Kai, and I'll kill you in the process, alright?" said the god of destruction looking at Beerus. Beerus said, "You're not going to do that. Whis did some research on you and we found out that you hated winning fights the easy way. You always stuck for a good fight, so I know you're not going to kill Kaio," said the god of destruction with a serious face to Big Mun, who ended up smiling broadly. Big Mun said, "Congratulations, you studied a little about me, but you forgot that I'm not only a good fighter, I'm also a good deceiver. In fact, I hope that Quitella manages to get to his universe quickly. If not, he will be destroyed by my servants," said the god of destruction with a smile on his face, something that made Whis and Beerus shocked. At the same time, Whis used his staff to communicate with the angel responsible for the 4th universe. Beerus said, "Hey Whis, what's going on with the 4th universe?" said the god of destruction without understanding anything at the moment. Whis said, "The 4th universe is being attacked by creatures made of sand, water, and wood. These creatures have the energy of destruction, the same as Big Mun has," said the angel looking at Big Mun, who was smiling. Big Mun said, "This conversation is very good, but it's time for me to leave. And by the way, Beerus, in our next meeting, I guarantee you that you will be defeated or killed, in the worst case scenario. So until our next meeting, my dear," said the god of destruction, entering a portal that appeared on his back. On Universe 7, the Supreme Kai's planet. Currently on King Kai's planet, it was possible to see Beerus furious with the words Big Mun after the sudden visit to Universe 7. Beerus said, "Whis, the Super Dragon Ball that Quitella and I were protecting, is with Big Mun now, isn't it?" asked the god of destruction to his angel, even though he was almost sure that Big Mun had taken the Super Dragon Ball that he and Quitella were protecting. Whis said, "Unfortunately, yes, Mr. Beerus. We are all deceived by Big Mun. While you were here, Quitella was forced to return to his universe so that he would not be destroyed. And with that, the Super Dragon Ball ended up being unprotected, and with the Amunet, the angel of Big Mun, who stole the last Dragon Ball, Big Mun had made a very smart plan. While he was talking to you, Amunet was there alone stealing the last Dragon Ball spear." "What the hell?" spoke the angel, Whis, while he made a hologram with his staff and showed everything that had happened with the Super Dragon Spear. Beerus said, "Damn," shouted the god of destruction, releasing some of his energy of destruction around the place, causing some cracks to appear on the ground, something that scared the Supreme Kai. The Supreme Kai said, "There's no need to stay that way, Mr. Beerus. He may have taken the last Super Dragon Ball from the 7th universe, but he still doesn't have the one that's in the 6th universe. You can go there and help your brother protect him, and so Big Mun won't be able to complete his goal," said the Supreme Kai of the 7th universe to the other god of destruction who paid close attention to his words. Beerus said, "It's true. I can go to the 6th universe and protect the last Super Dragon Ball," said the god of destruction with one hand on his chin, as he looked at the Supreme Kai and then looked at his angel. Whis said, "That's true, Mr. Beerus, but when you go to the 6th universe, the 7th universe will be without protection. After all, Big Mun could do the same thing he did to the 4th universe, forcing you to return to protect your universe," said the angel while looking at the god of destruction. Beerus said, "That's not really a problem. I know that Big Mun could create the army using his skills and attack the 7th universe. And because of that, you're going to send Goku and the rest of his friends to prepare for a possible war. And not only Goku, but also Broly, Frieza, and even that granola guy will help us now. Warn them all and say that if they don't fight, the whole universe will be destroyed. And that way even that shit Frieza will die if he stays still," said the god of destruction while looking at his angel Whis, while clenching his fists. The Supreme Kai said, "This is a good idea. After all, some of these warriors can reach the power level of a god of destruction, and even though I don't like Frieza, he will be useful to keep the universe safe. This time," said the Supreme Kai, while looking at Beerus and Whis. Beerus said, "I don't like Frieza, and I don't trust Broly and that granola guy, but they are the strongest, and to face beings that have the power of a god of destruction, I'll have to trust them a little," said the god of destruction while looking up to the Supreme Kai of his universe. Supreme Kai said, "Well, it's better to join forces with Frieza than have the universe destroyed. And that's for sure," said the Supreme Kai while looking at the god of destruction. Whis said, "I think it will be no longer necessary to go to the 6th universe, Mr. Beerus," said the angel to the god of destruction while looking at his staff and seeing that his sister Vados had sent him a message. The Supreme Kaio said, "What do you mean by that, Mr. Whis? Have other gods of destruction already gone to the 6th universe to protect the Super Dragon Balls?" asked the Supreme Kai while looking confused at the angel. Whis said, "Quite the contrary. In reality, it will not take any god of destruction to protect the Super Dragon Ball that is in the 6th universe," said the angel in a serious tone while looking at the god of destruction and the Supreme Lord Kaio, who were confused by that. Beerus said, "Enough of so much suspense, Whis. Will you tell us what's going on and be as brief as possible?" spoke the god of destruction, already irritated by the suspense that his angel was bringing. Whis said, "The Super Dragon Balls that were in the 6th universe cannot be protected because they are no longer in the 6th universe," said the angel while looking at the god of destruction, and the Supreme Kai, who ended up widening his eyes. The Supreme Kai said, "So if the Super Dragon Balls are no longer in the 6th universe, that means that they are with Big Mun. And if he already has all the Super Dragon Balls that were in the 6th universe, and now he has this one, that he has to steal from us almost now, so that means," said the Supreme Kai, being interrupted by the god of destruction. Beerus said, "This means he finally managed to get all 7 Super Dragon Balls, and with that he will be able to make the wish." Beerus said in an angry tone while thinking about what Big Mun would wish for, the Super Dragon Balls. Supreme Kai spoke. "So Big Mun can wish Super Shenron the death of all the gods of destruction or something worse than that?" said the Supreme Kai in an already weaker tone in his voice, as if he had already accepted his destiny. Beerus said, "No, he will not wish for the death of any being. He is too proud. He will wish for the death of no one. He will wish for something that makes him stronger to be able to defeat and kill us all. So in that matter, we don't need to worry. But I still don't know what his wish would be, so we must find a way to prevent his wish." Beerus spoke, returning to his serious and not furious expression from seconds ago. Beerus said, "Whis, tell me that you can track the location where the Super Dragon Balls are located. If you don't get it, we're very screwed. After all, that guy is very unpredictable," said the god of destruction, while looking at Whis, his angel, who just sighed. Whis said, "Unfortunately, no, Mr. Beerus. I already tried to track the Super Dragon Balls that Big Mun had before, but I couldn't. I think Aminet must have found a way to hide the energy of the Super Dragon Balls," said the angel while looking at the god of destruction, who ended up punching a tree near him, knocking it down in the process. Beerus said, "Damn. Whis, send word to all the gods of destruction that Big Mun now has all the Super Dragon Balls. So tell every one of them to get ready, because we don't know what he's going to want. But I know none of us are going to like this one bit." Whis said, "Yes, sir," said the angel, soon sending a warning message to all the angels of the other 12 universes. now at Big Mun's base. Currently on the planet where Big Mun had stolen to be his base, it was possible to see the God of Destruction was now looking at all the Super Dragon Balls that he had, which were now all 7. Big Mun said, "Now that I have all 7 Super Dragon Balls, and with that I can make my wish, but there is one thing I need to do before invoking the dragon," said the God of Destruction while looking at his angel, who thought for a while before answering his master. Amunet said, "No, master. Now we need to invoke the Super Shenron. Actually, let me invoke him, because you were never very good at speaking in the language of the gods." Big Mun said, "You're right. Let's do this soon," said the God of Destruction, giving the Super Dragon Balls to his angel. After receiving the Super Dragon Balls, Amunet started to float, and then she started speaking in the language of the gods to summon Super Shenron, and soon the Super Dragon Balls started to glow, and suddenly a big golden dragon came out of the Super Dragon Balls. The dragon, Super Shenron, who became much smaller than normal as they decreased the spheres, and with that Shenron was also decreased, but he was still the biggest dragon of them all. Big Mun said, "My wish is to have all my strength and abilities back. I want to regain all my strength and abilities that I had at my prime, and moreover, I want to have a much greater potential to evolve in the point to overcome the Daishinkan itself." Big Mun, while looking at Super Shenron. When Amunet heard her master's wish, she repeated to the Super Shenron in the language of the gods. And when she finally making the wish, a Super Shenron's red eyes shone more brightly, and soon after Big Mun ended up falling to the ground, while his energy from destruction grew at an absurd speed, and soon a big explosion ended up happening. And from the center, Big Mun emerged with all his original power. Big Mun spoke. "Finally, I finally got my power back," said the God of Destruction with a wide smile on his face, as he released a large amount of destruction energy and didn't feel any pain. In the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on planet Earth, it was possible to see Beerus and Whis in the Capsule Corporation, along with Goku and his friends, the Z Warriors. Besides them were there 2, Brawly, Frieza, and Granola. All these warriors had been called by Whis at the behest of Beerus, and besides the warriors there were some non-combatants like Bulma, Chi-Chi, and Chi-Lai. All those present were wanting to know why they had been called to that place, especially Frieza, who was getting irritated by the delay of Beerus and Whis, who until now had not said why they had been called. Frieza thought, "The delay is already making me angry. They brought me to this planet, and I can't even leave this planet because of Beerus. I can't leave, and they haven't said anything yet. It just makes me angrier. The worst thing is not even staying on this planet, but being in the presence of these damn Saiyans. And even this guy Granola and Brawly are here. It makes me want to know even why more I'm here," thought the Emperor as he looked around and saw some beings with powers at the same level as his or even superior, like Brawly, Granola, and even Gohan, who was talking to his wife and his mother, who was with his daughter, Pan, in her arms. Frieza thought, who knew that Son Gohan, that scared boy, who had been defeated easily in all our encounters, now has a power similar to mine, and the Saiyan Brawly and even Granola, who apparently seem to be stronger too. I wonder how strong Son Goku and Vegeta are now, asked the Emperor while looking at his 2 main enemies, Goku and Vegeta. Goku was talking to Vegeta and Bulma. Goku spoke. "I would like to know why we are gathered here. I was sleeping and suddenly Whis appeared and brought me here saying it was something urgent. But so far they haven't said anything. Hey Bulma, do you know something?" asked the Saiyan while looking at his childhood friend and wife of his Saiyan's rival. Bulma said, "Sorry Goku, but this time I don't know anything. Earlier today, Whis showed up asking if he could have a meeting with the strongest warriors of the 7th universe, so I thought it would be a new tournament of power, but Whis said it was something as important and dangerous as the tournament of power. Because of Whis' speech and the serious expression on her face, I realized that it was really something much more serious than the tournament of power," said the blue-haired human, looking at her Saiyan friend who started scratching the back of his head. Bulma said, "And you, why are you that way, Vegeta?" asked the woman to her husband, who had more serious expression than he usually had when he looked at Frieza, who was in the corner, leaning against the wall watching everyone in the place. Goku said, "Vegeta must be like that because of Frieza, who's there in the corner looking at all of us." From the moment Vegeta saw that Frieza was here, he was like he was waiting for Frieza to do something, for Vegeta to go after him and face him. "Even though I wanted that too," said the Saiyan while looking at his rival, who didn't take his eyes off Frieza, who was watching everyone. And when he noticed Vegeta's gaze, Frieza ended up giving a smug smile that made Vegeta snap his tongue. Vegeta said, Our difference, Kakarot, is that I'm watching Frieza waiting for him to act, and you just want to fight with Frieza, and I don't want to let that damn thing destroy the Capsule Corporation or kill someone, said the Prince of Saiyans while keeping his staring at Frieza, who just laughed at his face. This was irritating the Prince of Saiyans, who just didn't move against the Emperor because he didn't want to destroy or kill anyone who was at the place. Bulma said, I'm still surprised when you talk in such a protective way. It doesn't even sound like the Prince of Saiyans who said that his heart was pure evil, but looking at it now, that heart isn't even at all. Just very arrogant and confident, said the woman from a fun way, looking at her husband and blushing a small smile. Vegeta said, don't get me wrong, Bulma. I'm only doing this because many people here are important to Trunks, and the Capsule Corporation is where we live. And I'm not going to let any idiot destroy my house or touch someone who is important for my children. Or for you, Bulma, said the Prince of Saiyans, embarrassed, something that made Bulma giggle. Goku ended up doing something similar, only he ended up laughing louder. Goku said, Vegeta is no longer that evil Saiyan of many years ago. He is no longer like that since the day we met Beerus. And Vegeta ended up facing Beerus, who hit Bulma with a slap. That made Vegeta furious and forced him to get stronger to land some blows on Beerus. Since that day, anyone who thought Vegeta was still evil stopped thinking that way and started thinking that Vegeta was an overprotective husband and a doting father, said the Saiyan, laughing at his rival Saiyan, who was getting redder and redder. But now Vegeta was also getting angry. Vegeta said, Shut up, Kakarot. I don't want anyone talking about it, much less you. You idiot, who only thinks with his muscles, said the Prince of Saiyans in an irritated way while looking at his Saiyan rival. Everyone in the place talked and got together, but of course everyone was still wanting to know why they had been called by Whis and Beerus. Soon everyone would receive their answers because Whis and Beerus had finally finished having a conversation with the other angels and gods of destruction through the staff that Whis was holding in his hand. Whis said, Sorry for the delay. I know that each of you must be wondering why you are here and why I called you so urgently, said the angel, attracting the attention of all those who were in the place. Beerus said, I don't know if you know, but recently a being that should have been dead thousands of years ago ended up coming back to life. This being is a god of destruction from the time that existed 13 universes. This god of destruction wasn't so strong when he returned from the dead, but he got all the Super Dragon Balls, and with that this god of destruction will have a wish that we don't know what it is. What we do know is that this god of destruction called Big Mun came back to life, and that will be a very bad thing for all of us gods of destruction and mortals of all universes, said the god of destruction, looking at everyone present who was very scared with Beerus's words. Vegeta spoke. And whose fault is it? Obviously Frieza, the idiot, who's in search of more power, went after a star that could fulfill a wish for him. And with that, Frieza ended up bringing Big Mun back to life. So congratulations, Frieza, said the Prince of Saiyans in a furious tone. After all, the fault of Big Mun's return really was Frieza's, but he wasn't caring much about that. Frieza spoke. Not an idiot, you stinking monkey. It wasn't my fault that bastard used the star to come back from the dead. I just accidentally activated his wish. But I'm pretty sure I'm not obligated to continue in this place to hear that it's my fault that the god of destruction is back to life. So Beerus speaks soon because I have some other planets to conquer, said the Emperor while looking at the god of destruction, who just sighed before continuing to speak. Beerus spoke. The reason we called all of you here is because Big Mun is a being of great power. And with the wish he makes, Big Mun will probably be even more powerful, and he already has proven that he is even doing nothing. He could destroy one universe with the help of an army of beings with the energy of destruction created by Big Mun himself. And as we don't know what his wish will be, we came here to tell all of you that we are all in danger. So get ready, because at any moment, a war can happen. And if that happens, you need to destroy all the enemies. And if you find Big Mun, do not face him, because he is very powerful. Unless you're in a group of at least 2 people, only then you could try. If you are alone, leave the place quickly, because Big Mun defeated my twin brother Champa easily. So don't fight Big Mun unless you want to die, said the god of destruction, giving the great news to everyone who was there and lived at that location. In the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe of the planet that had become Big Mun's base of operations, who was currently facing some of his elemental soldiers who were fused with his Hawkeye energy, Big Mun was doing this to teach his soldiers how combat worked and also to help it adapt to his former monstrous strength that had returned with the help of Super Shenron. Big Mun was more used to his old powers. He was much stronger, and even Big Mun faced 100 of his soldiers. He managed to dodge all the blows of his soldiers, and then Big Mun advanced at high speed, hitting a precise blow on vital parts of those beings, destroying them with just one blow, causing the 100 soldiers to be killed. The soldiers ended up exploding in their respective elements, and the rest of the energy of destruction that was inside the soldiers ended up making a small explosion that destroyed everything that was close to them in a radius of 10 meters. Amunet spoke. Looks like the old Big Mun is coming back, but that's not his full power yet, isn't it, Master? If I remember correctly, you managed to defeat 1,000 of these soldiers in mere seconds, and did not receive any attacks. It took you a few minutes to defeat 100 soldiers, and you still ended up receiving some blows at the beginning of the combat. Well, you're still not completely adept to your old strength. So when you are already adapted to your powers again, you'll be able to defeat even 10,000 of these soldiers in a matter of seconds, said the angel while looking at her master, God of Destruction, who was a little sweaty because Big Mun had been fighting his soldiers for some time, and he was starting to get tired. Big Mun spoke. I know that, Amunet. I thought once I got my powers back using the Super Dragon Balls, I would be able to use my full power again, and even my true God of Destruction form, but I didn't think my body would need to adapt to that force, and that's annoying. I already know how to adapt my body quickly with all that power. Amunet, get ready, because we are going after the Super Dragon Balls, so that I can make another wish, and that way I will wish that my body adapts to my full power, and after that I will start my revenge, said the God of Destruction with a wide smile on his face, thinking that his plan was perfect, and it could even be since they could get the Super Dragon Balls again quickly. Amunet said, Your plan is good, Master, but unfortunately, it will not be possible to do that because the Super Dragon Balls were used a long time ago, and they take some time to be used again. About 1 mortal year for the Super Dragon Balls to be able to be used again. So even if we get all the Super Dragon Balls, they will be useless until you are willing to wait 1 year to use them again. After all, you've waited thousands of years to come back to life. 1 year must pass quickly, said the angel looking at her master, who ended up getting upset for not being able to use the Super Dragon Spears to speed up the adaptation of his body to his old powers of God of Destruction. Big Mun said, Not at all. I will not be waiting 1 year to start my revenge against the gods of destruction and the angels. I will train and make my body adapt to my old power, and when I am already adapted to at least 50% of my original power, I will start hunting the gods of destruction and the angels, and then I will go after the Daishinkan, and soon after I will do all this. I will wait to be able to use the Super Dragon Balls again, and I already know my next request. I will wish that the 13th universe comes back to life, and also all the other universes that were erased. And those other 12 current ones, either I destroy or divide among my former companions, gods of destruction. They were gods of destruction of respect, as much as they deserve to come back to life now. But now I will be their king. I will be the king of destruction, said the God of Destruction, revealing his future plans to his angel, who gave a big smile hearing that, after all, the King of Destruction was a nickname that the ancient gods of destruction gave Big Mun a long time ago, when he was at his true peak. Amunet said, It seems that you finally accepted this title of King of Destruction that your old friends, the gods of destruction, gave you a long time ago. It ended up making me a little nostalgic, and I'm very happy to know that you will bring back the erased universes of life. And they come back. I hope that when the universes do come back, my brothers and sisters come back together with their gods of destruction. I miss being able to talk to them during the fights you fought in the world of Limbo, and I still remember the delicious food that my brother Khan used to do, said the angel, remembering all the moments she had with those she really considered her brothers and sisters who were still sealed. Big Mun said, Do not worry, Amunet, because when I defeat everyone and complete my revenge, I guarantee you that I will free your brothers and sisters and bring my friends, the gods of destruction, and we will no longer need to worry about traitors like the current gods of destruction and their angels. But now it's time to go back to training, because the more I train, the more my body will adapt, and with that I will be able to go after the gods of destruction and kill them along with your angels, said the God of Destruction while looking at his angel. Then Big Mun returned to his training, but before that, he had his attention turned to his angel, again when she called him. Amunet spoke, Master, are we going to let the universes prepare? Because now that we got all the Super Dragon Balls, they must already be thinking of multiple wishes that you can make. They must be preparing the strongest mortals of their respective universes to be able to face your soldiers. So what are you going to do, Master? Asked the angel, looking at her master, who took one of his hands to his chin and started to think about it. Big Mun said, "You're right. The gods of destruction must already be preparing to face me, and they already know about my army, and must be preparing for a possible invasion of my army in their universes," said the god of destruction while looking to the sky and thought about what he could do at that moment. Amunet said, "I have a master idea. Why don't you create a large army and order them to invade each of the universes? In this way, mortals will have to face their soldiers, and this will start the destruction of all the universes. Then you'll only need to use the Super Dragon Balls or Dragon Balls that exist in the 7th universe to destroy the universes after the Lord has already dominated all the universes and defeated all who got in its way," said the angel while looking at her master, who thought very carefully about her angel's words, and then gave a wide smile. Big Mun said, "A great idea, my dear Amunet. You weren't one of the smartest angels for nothing," said the god of destruction, looking at his angel, who was happy to be praised by his master. Big Mun said, "That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a huge army, and I'll divide them into groups to send them to the universes, and that way the mortals will have a sample of my strength. And moreover, while the gods of destruction will be busy with my army, I'll be there training and adapting, and when I'm ready, I'll start hunting the gods of destruction," said the god of destruction with a big smile on his face as he looked at his angel. So Big Mun concentrated and started releasing his energy all over that place, and soon several elemental beings with the appearance of a humanoid dog were created. All these soldiers had a certain amount of energy of destruction inside their bodies. Big Mun said, "My dear friends, I want all of you to spread chaos and fear in all the 12 universes. I also want you to destroy and kill anyone who tries to stop you. But if it is a god of destruction, I want you to retreat and do not face them, for I will be the one to kill the gods of destruction. Those are my orders. Now go and bring chaos and destruction to all universes," said the god of destruction while looking at all his newly created soldiers. Amunet created 12 portals, one for each universe, and soon Big Mun's soldiers entered the portals that soon closed, leaving only Big Mun and Amunet in play. We reached the end of another video today, so for those who like the content of this channel already, leave the like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave your comment, which is very important for the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.